The Kouri Richins case has captivated national attention, filled with shocking evidence, twists, and ongoing legal battles. Kouri, a Utah mother and real estate agent, is accused of being involved in her husband Eric Richins' death by poisoning him with fentanyl. In this video, we'll take a closer look at the history of the case, Eric's tragic passing, and the latest bombshell evidence discovered, including a controversial letter found in Kouri's jail cell. We'll also explore Kouri's life before the trial, including her surprising career as an author. The Richins Family, a picture-perfect life. Kouri and Eric Richins were prominent figures in Summit County, Utah. Kouri was a successful real estate agent, and Eric owned a business, which together gave the appearance of a stable, successful family life. They were raising 3 young children and, on the surface, seemed to have it all. However, beneath the facade, there were growing tensions in their marriage. Eric had grown increasingly concerned about Kouri's spending habits and financial decisions. This mistrust drove him to make significant changes to his estate plans. Just before his death, Eric removed Kouri as the beneficiary of his will and life insurance policy, a decision that would become central to the investigation. Eric Richins' sudden death, a fatal overdose. On March 4th, 2022, Kouri dialed 911, reporting that her husband was unresponsive. She told emergency responders that she had made him a drink to celebrate a recent business deal, and later found him unconscious in their bed. An autopsy later revealed that Eric had passed away from a fentanyl overdose. This discovery shocked Eric's family, as he had no history of drug use. Questions quickly surfaced. How had the fentanyl gotten into his system? The investigation unfolds. Initially, Eric's death was considered a tragic accident, but soon authorities began piecing together a more troubling story. Over the following year, investigators uncovered evidence that pointed directly to Kouri as the prime suspect. According to court records, Kouri had been secretly purchasing fentanyl in the weeks leading up to Eric's death. The investigation also revealed a possible motive. Eric had changed his will, effectively cutting Kouri off from his estate. This financial decision, paired with her alleged drug purchases, painted a compelling picture for investigators. In May 2023, Kouri was arrested and charged in connection with Eric's death. The arrest sent shockwaves through their community, but it was only the beginning of a case filled with even more startling revelations. Kouri Richins, author of a grief book. In an unexpected twist, just 1 year after Eric's death and before her arrest, Kouri Richins published a children's book titled Are You With Me? The book, which was released in March 2023, was designed to help children cope with the loss of a loved one. Kouri described it as a personal project aimed at supporting her 3 children as they grieved the loss of their father. The irony of this development was not lost on the public. Kouri, now charged with being involved in Eric's passing, had penned a book on helping children process grief. For many, this added another layer of complexity to an already disturbing case, raising questions about her intentions. The timing of the book's release, just before her arrest, has fueled speculation. Some view it as an attempt to portray herself as a devoted mother grappling with loss, while others see it as a calculated move to deflect suspicion. Financial motives and marital strife. A key element in the prosecution's case revolves around Kouri's financial troubles and growing discord in her marriage. Friends and family reported that Eric had become increasingly suspicious of Kouri's behavior, particularly her spending habits. He was reportedly alarmed enough to consult with financial advisors, seeking ways to protect his assets. Not long before his death, Eric altered his will and life insurance policy, removing Kouri as the primary beneficiary. Instead, he named his sister to inherit his wealth. Prosecutors believe that this financial move may have been a significant factor in Eric's death. The defense, however, claims that Kouri had no knowledge of these changes and argues that the evidence against her is circumstantial. The bombshell Jailhouse Letter. In September 2023, the case took a major turn when investigators discovered a 6-page letter in Kouri's jail cell addressed to her mother, Lisa Darden. This letter, which has since become a critical piece of evidence, allegedly outlines a plan for Kouri's brother, Ronnie, to provide false testimony to shift the blame for Eric's death. The letter suggests that Ronnie should testify in court, claiming that Eric had told him about obtaining fentanyl from Mexican farm workers during his trips to Mexico. The letter provides intricate details, stating that Eric had supposedly shared this information while watching football with Ronnie a year before his death. Kouri allegedly wrote that Ronnie should testify that Eric kept his drug use a secret from her because he feared she would be upset. Kouri also urged her mother to deliver this message to Ronnie in person, warning her not to use the phone or discuss it at home, suggesting they might be monitored by law enforcement. Kouri emphasized that Ronnie's testimony would be brief but critical for her defense. After the letter was seized, Kouri called her mother from jail, attempting to downplay the document. She claimed it was part of a fictional novel she was writing, but authorities and legal experts believe the letter reveals a calculated attempt to manipulate the court proceedings. The discovery of this letter has sparked heated legal debates, with the defense arguing that it has no relevance, while the prosecution sees it as further evidence against Kouri. The letter's potential impact on the case remains a point of contention as the trial moves forward. Prosecutions Case. Evidence of premeditation. Beyond the Jailhouse Letter, the prosecution has compiled a mountain of evidence they say points to premeditation. They've presented text messages, internet searches, and financial records as key pieces of the puzzle. These digital breadcrumbs, combined with Kouri's alleged fentanyl purchases, have painted a picture of a carefully planned event, according to the prosecution. They argue that Kouri meticulously orchestrated Eric's death to secure financial gain, knowing he had changed his will and removed her from his life insurance policy. Theories and public reaction. The public has been following the Kouri Richins case with fascination, and various theories have emerged. Some believe the prosecution's case is ironclad, pointing to the financial motive, Kouri's alleged drug purchases, and the Jailhouse Letter as proof of her involvement. Others are more skeptical, arguing that the evidence is largely circumstantial and pointing out that there is no direct proof that Kouri administered the fatal dose of fentanyl. Several theories include: 1. Premeditated involvement. This theory suggests that Kouri deliberately poisoned Eric to gain control of his assets after learning he had cut her out of his will and life insurance. 2. Another theory is that Eric's death could have been an accidental overdose, though this seems unlikely given his lack of drug history and the sheer amount of fentanyl found in his system. 3. The possibility of another party's involvement. Some speculate that a third party might have been involved in Eric's death, though no evidence has surfaced to support this. As the trial unfolds, the bombshell letter and the digital evidence will likely be critical points of contention. The defense will attempt to poke holes in the prosecution's case, while prosecutors will argue that Kouri's actions were those of a person with both motive and opportunity. Kouri's book, Are You With Me?, will also continue to be a point of public interest, with many questioning the timing of its release and the narrative Kouri was attempting to build around her and her children's grief. The outcome of this case is far from certain, and it promises to remain a fixture in true crime discussions for the foreseeable future. Do you believe the evidence points to Kouri's involvement, or is there more to this story? What are your thoughts on the Jailhouse Letter and the role it might play in the trial? Share your theories and comments below, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications to stay updated on this case and other true crime stories.